Hello and welcome back to this new video of mine. I just made myself a coffee and we're gonna talk about the new releases of next year, 2024. Crazy how fast this year went by for some reason. It didn't quite reach me yet. That November is almost over already. Yeah, let's not talk about that because I curated a list of books that I'm interested in. They're just on my radar right now. I want to talk with you about them and let's have a little chat in the comments down below which ones of these you are interested in, if you maybe already pre-ordered some of those, and also if I forgot one, please let me know in the comments because I'm always open to hear about new books and just have a conversation with you guys in the comments. I love our little community that we created here. It's just so cozy. Let's dive right into this video, shall we? So get your beverage, get your tea, get your coffee, your cozy blanket, and we're gonna dive right into this video. So I got my laptop right here. First I want to talk to you about The Prisoner's Throne. It comes out on March 5th and I'm so excited for this book. You cannot imagine. I read the first one of the duology. So this is a spin-off. Of the Cruel Prince trilogy. I think that's what it's called, by Holly Black. And here we're following Oak, so the brother of the protagonist from the first series. And I read the first book last year and it was so good. I loved it more than the series, like more than the trilogy, because I felt like everyone was hyping up the trilogy so much and I had such high expectations for it, and I did enjoy it, but it wasn't a 5-star read for me. And this one came very, very close. I think the first book of that series of the duology, I gave 4.5 stars. By the time this book comes out, it's been a year. And I really want to know how it continues, so this is something I'm definitely looking forward to. Then the next book is Just Some Stupid Love Story by Caitlin Doyle. Comes out on June 4th, 2024, obviously. And it says, for fans of Hamley Henry, a debut about a rom-com screenwriter who doesn't believe in love and a divorce attorney who does. Kind of cute. So they're basically meeting at their high school reunion 15 years later, and they had a relationship before in high school and she broke his heart and now they're forced to meet again. He basically tries to prove her wrong and make her fall in love with him again, and he has 5 years to do so till the next reunion, and that's so cute. I don't know, it just sounds very like contemporary romance. I like it. I'm just very interested in it. I forgot my rings today. Let me put them on first before we continue because that's not an option. I got them on now. But the next book caught me a bit by surprise, I gotta say. I'm very confused about this release. It's by Ellie Hazelwood and she comes out with the book Bright, and it's a paranormal romance. It's a fantasy. I don't know what to expect from this, to be honest. I have to say I don't really love the idea of the entire trope. I'm interested and I'm curious because everyone just raves about Ellie Hazelwood and her writing style. Haven't read a book of hers yet, but I'm definitely planning on in the upcoming days to read one of hers. So she's basically a vampire and he's a werewolf, and it's a marriage of convenience. That's all I know about the story. I feel like it's pretty vague. I don't know how the world building is gonna be like. That sounds very like adult fantasy to me. Not even necessarily like high fantasy. It just more sounds like those fantasies with a lot of smut, you know? That's a bit what I expect from this. I just have to say it caught me off guard. I didn't even say it comes out on February 6th, so not so far away anymore. Yeah, well, 3 months, but 2 months. The fact that February is 2 months away, like December, January, and then it's already February. I'm curious, but I'm first gonna wait out on some reviews of what other people say about it because I really cannot tell if this is gonna be a good book or not. I mean, I assume it will be. I'm just caught off guard with that one. That's, I think, the best way to describe it. The next one is also by Ellie Hazelwood. It comes out on June 11th and is called Not in Love. It's basically a boardroom affair, something that they have to hide, and it's more about physical attraction, it seems like. I guess it's gonna be pretty steamy. It sounds like a pretty steamy romance and a business romance. Just a contemporary romance about two people that are attracted to each other even though they can't because of their business deal. And I think because it's also in the world of startups, I think we're gonna get a bit more business talk in this one. I mean, the other ones were more about women in STEM, I believe. So I feel like this is gonna have a bit of a different setting, which is interesting. I like that. I just don't know if that's maybe a character we've already met before. So it's about Ruth Siebert and Ellie Kilgore. I don't know, because I haven't read any of her other books yet. But to anyone who has, comes out on June 11th, and I'm curious. I'm curious about that one. I mean, this is more what I expect from her than the other one. We will see. Just so you know, these books are not in chronological order. Not by release date and not by interest rate from my side. So I'm just going through everything, whatever comes up first. Catherine Center also comes out with a new book, which I'm really interested in. I've read The Bodyguard and I really liked her writing style. It was so fast-paced and so amusing and entertaining. The next book she comes out with is the ROM Commers, and I assume it's a rom-com. This also comes out on June 11th, so there are a lot of books coming out in June actually, so we still have to wait a little bit longer. We're following Emma Wheeler, and she's a screenwriter of romantic comedies, and that's so interesting. For some reason, it gives me kind of Emily Henry vibes of like authors, screenwriters. So Emma moves to LA, and there she has a writing gig and she meets Charlie Yates. I think that's gonna be a grumpy meets sunshine romance because he doesn't want to write with anyone and he also doesn't care about the script that they have to write together. He seems like a douchebag up front, so I think that's gonna be very interesting. It's gonna be very funny. Like how I know her writing style, I know this is gonna be entertaining. Oh my god, that's so cute. She will stand up for herself and for rom-coms and for love itself. She will convince him that love stories matter, even if she has to kiss him senseless to do it. But what if that kiss is actually accidentally amazing? I love it. That sounds so good. Okay, so June 11th, I think I'm gonna pre-order that one. I'm really curious. Another book that's the first part of a series this time is Heartless Hunter. It's the Crimson Moth series. Can we talk about this cover? This is so gorgeous. I love the color theory that's on there. It says her deadliest enemy or her greatest love. Enemies to lovers, hello, sign me up for it, please. Comes out February 20th, and it's also steamy, so it's like a steamy fantasy romance. This book, I cannot. It's about a witch and a witch hunter. A steamy game of cat and mouse between witch and witch hunter played out against a backdrop of opulence, secrets, and bloody history. You cannot tell me this doesn't sound good. So Rune is a witch and she has to hide that she is one because the powerful rulers, they're outcasting the witches from their realm, but she's secretly protecting all the other witches as a witch vigilante. Very cool. Ooh, and then Rune, this sounds so good. I'm sorry, I'm completely in awe already. In order to distract him from all the other witches, she has to court Gideon Sharp. And he's a notorious and unforgiving witch hunter. Love it. And they start falling for each other, but like the thing is that they're actually villains and they would have to kill each other if they would. I'm so excited for this. Okay, so Heartless Hunter coming out on 20th of February. Exciting. Exciting stuff. Of course, Emily Henry had to make the list. Who's surprised? Not me. She comes out with a new book called Funny Story on April 23rd. Also so excited for that one, not gonna lie. I did not read what it's about before and I'm in shock right now. Daphne is the main protagonist we're following this time, and she has a fiancé called Peter, and he always told their love story in a very affectionate way, and she just loved the way that he talked about them and how they met. But it turns out that he actually still has feelings for his childhood friend Petra and goes back to her, so he breaks up with her. Oh. So now she's stranded in beautiful Waning Bay, Michigan, without friends or family, but with a dream job as a children's librarian. And now she's roommates with Petra's ex, Miles Nowak. So I assume that we're gonna have a love story between the two. So they're roommates and they're also having a shared commonality of they both got left by their partner because of the partner's ex-partners. Does that make sense? Oh wow, that sounds so confusing. You know what I mean. I just love Emily Henry's writing style. I'm very excited for this book. I'm pretty sure you've already heard about it before. It just sounds very promising, as almost all her books do. What can I say? I found another book that's more literary fiction and historical fiction. So it's not really a romance, but it's called Diva by Daisy Goodwin, and it's coming out end of January on January 23rd, and it's the story of the scandalous love affair between the most celebrated opera singer of all time and one of the richest men in the world. It's about Mariah Callas, and she was the diva, the divine one. I think it's gonna follow her around how she actually became successful and how she actually got out on top, but also she meets Aristotle and they start an affair. It's so interesting. They have a love affair, it goes out to the public, everyone knows about it, but then he proposes to another woman, and leaves her to pick up the pieces. And it sounds very heartbreaking too. I don't know, the thing is I haven't read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo yet, but it still gives me kind of that type of vibe, that kind of energy. I feel like it's gonna be quite similar actually, like just from the vibe that I'm getting from reading the premise of the book. Correct me if I'm wrong though, because as I said, I haven't read it yet, but it sounds good. The next book is The Getaway List by Emma Lord. Also comes out on January 23rd. That was not planned. Oh wow. It's about Riley, and she graduates from high school, but she realizes that she doesn't even know what she wants to do with her life. And because she always focused on providing everything everyone else wanted of her instead of focusing on herself and her own needs, she's now a bit stuck and after high school doesn't know what she wants to do. So what she actually does is pack up her bags and she moves to New York to meet her childhood best friend Tom, and he's also co-creator of The Getaway List. And The Getaway List is all the things they wanted to do together before he moved away. It's gonna be a love story about them working through that getaway list, and also childhood best friend, second chance at love, that type of stuff. It just sounds interesting. It sounds cute. It sounds very heartwarming. Also coming out in July, but this time July 9th, is The Darkness Within Us. And I don't know if you've heard of The Shadows Between Us, but The Shadows Between Us is part 1 and The Darkness Within Us is part 2. I actually have The Shadows Between Us at home, but I didn't read it yet either. This time we're following a different character that's already mentioned in the first book. So I presume that the first book is complete within itself. Like, I don't think there's gonna be a huge cliffhanger at the end of the first one, but I've heard a lot of good things about it. It's a romantasy. I don't want to tell you too much about the premise of the book. It's the second part still, and I spoiled myself. I didn't want to give too much away for you guys, so yeah, it's the second part of a series. The cover is beautiful. It looks amazing. I think it's gonna look very, very nice with The Shadows Between Us. I'm curious, but I first have to read the other one and see if I like it. But please let me know in the comments if you've read The Shadows Between Us and how you liked it, because I did hear good things about it, so I'm curious. Also, the second book of a series, also coming out in July, but this time July 4th, is Reckless by Lauren Roberts, and this is the second part of Powerless, and I'm like, oh, I want this book so badly right now already. I'm not amused. The way part 1 ended, please give me the second book right away. I cannot wait for this, and it's still so long. It's over half a year still, and I'm like, but okay, we all know that the time is gonna fly by like nothing. It's always like this. Right now July seems so far away. It's gonna go in a blink of an eye. I know it already. So to describe Powerless briefly for you, it's romantasy, very high romance in this fantasy world, like very high romance. Like, don't expect to have like this crazy fantasy world. The focus is mostly on romance in this one. It's about Peyton and Kai, and Peyton is powerless, and in this world, basically everyone who's powerless is sentenced to die because they would spread the disease within this kingdom, and the king only wants strong people to survive and only want the ones with power and magical abilities to survive and thrive in this country. She would be sentenced to death, and she's hiding that she's powerless from everyone, including the prince that she one day saves. Accidentally, she didn't know that he was the prince, and she gets caught up in some games of the kingdom and she has to fight for her life. So it's kind of Hunger Games-esque, but also Red Queen, and it's like those two blended together with a lot of romance. It was so good. It was a 4.5 star for me, or 4.75. Like, it was so good. It was so close to 5 star. So I'm really excited for this one. The next book comes out April 2nd, and it's called Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, and it sounds very cute, very funny. So Justin has a curse because he's never the one. Women always break up with him, and after the breakup they immediately find the one for them and they are utterly in love. And one day another woman reaches out to him. She has the same issue, so they both get together and they say, okay, let's both date so that we can both break our curse and find our true soulmates. But what if they're both each other's soulmates? Sounds cute. Sounds fun. Sounds like a cute summer romance. Elle Kennedy is also coming out with a new book called Girl Abroad, and she comes out with it on February 13th, so one day before Valentine's Day. For all the men out there, you can get your girlfriend a good gift. I'm just saying. It seems a bit more like young adult, new adult type of romance, because the protagonist is gonna move to London for a year to study there, and I don't know what type of study it is. I don't know if it's college or if it's high school, actually. Oh, 19-year-old. I don't know, I feel like 19-year-old is for me not an age where I expect a very steamy romance, but I also don't expect something very young adult-ish. I don't remember how old they were for the off-campus series actually. Can someone tell me how old the characters in off-campus were? I want to know. I don't remember. So the thing is, she's moving there and she's gonna live with a few men and she falls in love with 2 of them. She starts falling for her rugby player roommate. Again, it's sports romance, what else? But also a broody musician with a girlfriend. Oh, that's a predicament, I would say. I think it sounds very interesting, to be honest. I love London, I love the vibe. I think it could be very cool. I think it could be a very nice book, especially it's Elle Kennedy, so we already know what we can expect from her writing style and stuff. And it's a bit different than what she usually does, so. And lastly, such a beautiful cover, I don't know, it looks so magical, is A Fragile Enchantment. So cute. Comes out very early next year, January 2nd, so it's really not that long anymore. And it's about Niam, and she has magic in her blood that will eventually kill her. And she can stitch emotions and memories into fabric. How amazing does that sound? Sorry. And now she gets the chance to design the wardrobe for the royal wedding. Oh, it sounds so interesting, but Avalon is far from the fairy tale that she imagined. While young nobles attend candlelit balls and elegant garden parties, unrest brews amid the working class. Okay. And the groom is prickly, abrasive, and begrudgingly being dragged to the altar as a political pawn. His name is Kit, and they're gonna grow closer together, and there is a lot of family secrets in this, and a forbidden romance, forbidden love, but also a lot of things are at stake for her because she's eventually probably gonna die because of her magic, at least if she uses it more. It sounds so amazing, and it's also a bit of historical fiction, I believe. I think this is gonna be a beautiful magical book. It sounds very magical. I mean, A Fragile Enchantment. How cute does that sound already? I mean, fragile doesn't sound so cute, but enchantment in the title gives me all the feelings. That was it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. As I said, if I missed out on any books that you're curious about and that you're looking forward to, please let me know in the comments down below, because there is so much stuff coming out next year that it can be very likely that I forgot things or that I just didn't see something. So let's have a conversation down below, and also let me know if you pre-ordered something already and what you're most excited for. I cannot wait to hear from you. As I said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a beautiful and blissful day, and I'm gonna see you next week. Bye!